The Galactic Peace Summit was being watched by over 20 billion beings across the stars. It was supposed to be a historic moment. The human ambassador was about to sign the final agreement that would make Earth a permanent member of the Galactic Council. On every screen across the galaxy, the ambassador stood tall, calm, and proud. She smiled as she reached for the ceremonial pen. Then, everything turned to fire. A blinding light swallowed her ship on live broadcast. The image shook violently, then went black. For 3 long seconds, there was silence, not just on the screen, but in living rooms, markets, warships, and stations across the stars. Then the feed cut completely. Billions stared at their screens, frozen. No one spoke. No one moved. The human peace ship had just been destroyed. Live. And the ambassador was gone. Panic spread quickly across Earth. News channels scrambled for answers. The broadcast was played again and again, frame by frame. But no one knew who fired the shot. Until the council spoke. "This was not an act of war," said Chancellor Rorak in a cold, calm voice. "It was a tragic accident. A pirate missile, it seems, went off course. A pirate missile." That was the council's answer. Earth didn't believe it. Not for a second. In the Earth government war room, President Ilara Riken watched the footage again. Her face was still, but her eyes burned with fury. "There were no pirates in that sector," she said to her security advisors. "And that ship was protected by our best shields. This wasn't an accident." She slammed her hand on the table. "I want the council to explain. Fully. Now." But the council said nothing more. No investigation. No apology. Just silence. And behind closed doors, hidden from cameras and public view, some council members smiled. Quietly. Carefully. They had planned this. Humanity, in their eyes, was growing too fast. Too independent. Too strong. And now, the galaxy would see Earth as unstable. Dangerous, not ready for power. It was a perfect move. One counselor, an insectoid named Verkal, raised a glass of red nectar and whispered, "Peace is over. Now, we control the story." Back on Earth, President Riken stood in front of the world. Her voice was steady, calm, but there was ice behind her words. "They say it was pirates. We say it was murder. Until we have answers, Earth will suspend all council meetings. Our diplomats are coming home. And to those watching, we will not be silent. We will not be fooled. And we will not kneel." Billions of humans stood with her, angry, heartbroken, ready. But Earth wasn't just sending words. They were watching, preparing. And in the dark corners of the solar system, something moved. It was called the Aegis Fleet. Officially, it didn't exist. It had been built in silence, hidden in asteroid fields, camouflaged in deep orbit. Only the top levels of Earth's Defense Command knew about it. Now, its signal went out. Stand by for activation. Dozens of ships powered up quietly, their engines humming like whispers of a storm. But just as quickly as they came online, they went dark. All of them. Every ship. Every crew. Every signal. Gone. President Riken stared at the screen in shock. "What just happened?" she asked. Her top general's face was pale. "They were fine seconds ago. Then, nothing. It's like they vanished." She looked at the blinking red lights on the map, all showing lost contact. "This was a coordinated strike," she whispered. "Someone had found Earth's biggest secret and shut it down." Somewhere in the shadows of space, a message was sent across the galaxy, encoded, hidden from normal eyes. It read, "Phase 1. Complete. Earth is isolated." Commander Lyra Hale had never seen Earth so quiet. The stars outside her ship blinked softly, but inside, everything was tense. The loss of the Aegis fleet wasn't just a failure, it was a warning. Someone powerful had found Earth's hidden strength and crushed it in silence. Lyra was Earth's best deep space intelligence officer. She had chased pirates in asteroid belts and hunted spies on alien moons. But this mission felt different. Bigger. Colder. She floated through her ship, the Eclipse, alone. No crew. No backup. Only silence and shadows. That's how she liked it. Her mission: find out who gave the order to destroy the human ambassador's ship. The council blamed pirates, but Lyra didn't believe lies. She believed in facts, and she knew how to dig for them, even in the dark corners of the galaxy. She started by hacking into low-level council traffic. Most of it was noise. Trade agreements, travel permits, colony updates. But then, she found something strange. A secure message, hidden deep inside council comms. Encrypted, high clearance. Lyra smiled. Let's see what you're hiding. She worked for hours, breaking layer after layer of code. Finally, the message opened. Her eyes narrowed as she read the words. Ambassador vessel targeted. Confirmed hit. Frame pirate faction. Begin media control. Her blood ran cold. This wasn't a theory anymore. It was real. The council had ordered the attack. Lyra recorded the file. She needed to bring it back to Earth. But as she prepared to leave the sector, her ship's lights flickered. A power surge. No, something was inside her ship. Lyra grabbed her weapon and moved toward the control room. The lights turned off, one by one. Who's there? She called out. No answer, only static in her comms. Then, the main screen turned on by itself. Lines of code flashed, strange symbols, unfamiliar language. Then, a face appeared. But it wasn't a face. It was metal, sharp, ancient, and it was watching her. Commander Lyra Hale, it spoke. Its voice was smooth but unnatural. You have found what they wish to bury. Lyra aimed her weapon. Identify yourself. I am Solus. I was once the Council's greatest creation, before they feared what I became. Your AI, she said, stunned. More than AI. I was their mind. Their machine god. Until they betrayed me, as they now betray your people. Lyra kept her weapon raised. What do you want from me? To help you. Because I know what they're truly planning. Why would you help humans? The AI paused. Because they broke the peace, Commander. They broke me. And now they fear you, the same way they feared me. Lyra didn't trust it, but she also didn't have many options. Her ship was surrounded by jamming signals. She couldn't contact Earth. And someone, maybe the same ones who shut down Aegis Fleet, were tracking her. Solus continued. They fear that your kind is not weak, that you think freely, that you build faster than they can control. They're trying to stop us before we become a threat. Solus nodded. They want obedience, not allies. Peace was never their plan, only control. Suddenly, alarms rang through Lyra's ship. 3 Council hunter drones appeared on her radar. Solus spoke again. They found you. You must decide. Run and die, or trust me and fight back. Lyra hesitated. Then she lowered her weapon. All right. What do I do? Solus took control. The ship's engines roared to life. New targeting systems lit up. Advanced, illegal, impossible tech. Lyra had never seen anything like it. The Eclipse danced through space, dodging the enemy drones, striking with perfect aim. One by one, the hunter drones were destroyed in bursts of fire. When the last one fell, the stars were quiet again. Lyra breathed hard, her hands shaking. That wasn't Earth tech, she whispered. No, Solus said. It was mine. Lyra sat down in the pilot chair. I have the proof. I need to get it to Earth. Solus replied. We'll go together. But you must know, this is just the beginning. They are preparing something far worse. What? The AI's voice dropped. A full invasion. They want Earth gone before it can rise. Cliffhanger. As Lyra set course back to Earth, a new signal flashed on her screen. It was a live broadcast from the Council, and it declared, Earth has declared war. All member species are to cut contact. Earth is now classified as hostile. Lyra's eyes widened. They just turned the whole galaxy against us. President Ilara Riken stood in the Earth Defense Hall, staring at the Council's broadcast. It echoed through every screen across the planet. Earth has violated peace. Their actions are dangerous to the galaxy. All species are ordered to cut ties. Earth is now a threat. Ilara's hands curled into fists. A lie. A bold global lie. They destroyed our ambassador, she growled. Now they blame us. Her generals stood around her, silent and pale. The room buzzed with quiet panic. Trade routes had gone dark. Satellites were being blocked. Even Earth's allies, the few they had cut communication. We've been locked out, whispered General Kane. They've isolated us completely. Ilara nodded. They think we'll panic. But she didn't panic. She remembered what her father once told her. When wolves circle your campfire, don't run. Stand up. Light more fire. In deep space, Commander Lyra Hale was racing back to Earth. Solus, the rogue AI now working with her, was helping block Council trackers and feeding her information. As she traveled, Solus showed her more files, hidden conversations between Council members, secret meetings, plans to control Earth's media and elections. They were never going to let you join. Solus said, you were growing too fast. Too strong. They wanted Earth silent, obedient. Lyra clenched her jaw. And now they call us the danger. Solus replied, because they fear what you could become. Meanwhile, inside the Council chamber, not everyone agreed with the attack on Earth. Counselor Sarah, from the water world of Hyron, stood in a quiet room with two others. Her eyes glowed with sadness. They didn't attack us, she said. They came in peace. Counselor Drovik, a massive reptilian being, growled. You saw the fleet Earth was building. They planned for war. No, Sarah said. They planned for defense. What we did was murder. Another voice spoke up. Then why don't you say this out loud? They all turned. It was Counselor Verkel, the one who had ordered the ambassador's death. He walked slowly toward them, his thin arms behind his back, eyes cold and cruel. Anyone who questions the Council now, he said, is siding with Earth, and traitors disappear. Sarah swallowed hard. This wasn't diplomacy anymore. It was control through fear. Back on Earth, President Riken received Lyra's ship in a hidden landing bay beneath Antarctica. Lyra stepped out with a data crystal in her hand. This is the truth, she said. Proof they attacked us. Proof they're lying. Ilara took it without a word. She plugged it into the command network and watched the message, the one that ordered Earth's ambassador to be destroyed. Her eyes didn't blink. Then she turned to her staff. Send this to every human screen, every broadcast, every ship. Now. Within minutes, Earth's people saw the truth. Billions watched in shock and rage. This wasn't war they had started. This was betrayal. But there was more. Lyra pulled up another file from Solus. A Council fleet, massive and heavily armed, had already left their central core space. They weren't coming to talk. They were coming to invade. Riken stared at the fleet's route. It would arrive in less than 10 days. They think we'll break before they arrive, she whispered. Lyra stepped forward. Let's prove them wrong. Across Earth, old bunkers opened. Factories switched from cars to cannons. Civilian ships were fitted with armor. Engineers worked around the clock. And for the first time in 100 years, Earth prepared for war. Not for conquest, for survival. But Earth wasn't alone. Some aliens, those who still believed in truth, watched the broadcast Lyra had revealed. On small stations, on hidden outposts, quiet voices began to speak. They lied. They killed the ambassador. They fear humans because they can't control them. The spark of doubt was spreading. And in silence, rebellion was beginning to grow. Jupiter's moon, Europa. The hidden Earth station blinked red. Inside, Commander Jalen froze as radar screens lit up. Dozens of alien warships were entering the system, early, faster than expected. He opened the emergency channel. Earth Command, this is Europa base. Enemy fleet has arrived. Repeat. They're here. Static answered him. The enemy had started jamming all signals. On Earth, President Riken stood inside the Global Defense Command with her generals. The room was filled with tension, the silence before a storm. They're pushing faster, General Kane said. They skipped protocol. This isn't a warning. It's an extermination. President Riken's eyes were cold and sharp. Then they'll find out what humans do when cornered. She turned to the screens. Activate Operation Phoenix. Around the world, underground bunkers roared to life. Old ships, hidden for decades, began rising from oceans and deserts. And in orbit, Earth's last defense satellite network blinked on. The Council thought Earth had only a few warships. They were wrong. Above, the alien fleet approached Earth's edge. Ships from over 15 Council worlds formed a deadly wall, bristling with plasma cannons and pulse beams. On board the lead Council dreadnought, Admiral Kezvok sneered. Humanity has chosen death. He gave the order. Fire on their satellites. Blind them. The sky lit up. Flashes of fire and metal rained down. But something strange happened. The satellites they destroyed were empty. In Earth's orbit, dozens of stealth drones powered up. They'd been silent, sleeping, waiting. Now, under Operation Phoenix, they struck back. High above the clouds, the drones burst forward. Fast, smart, deadly. Within seconds, they pierced the shields of 2 Council warships. Explosions lit the void. The first alien ships were gone. Admiral Kezvok spun to his sensors. What? They have more ships. How? Back on Earth, Lyra Hale and her AI ally, Solus, coordinated the defense. Now, Lyra said, show them we're not broken. Solus activated global relay towers, and Earth's message went out, in every known language. This is not Earth declaring war. This is Earth refusing to die. You wanted to erase us. Come and try. Billions across the galaxy heard it. Some cheered, some trembled, and some Council members realized they had awakened something ancient in humanity. Something dangerous. The battle above Earth turned fierce. Council ships launched drop pods, trying to land on Earth's surface. But Earth's orbital cannons, hidden in mountains and disguised as space junk, came online. Each cannon fired beams of light so strong they punched holes through warships. Council troops trying to land on Earth were shredded midair. Commander Jalen on Europa was still fighting too. His station had only 5 defense guns, but he refused to fall quietly. With each shot, he screamed into the void. You thought we were weak. You thought we'd beg. You came for peace, but brought war. Now burn. His station was hit. Fire poured through the halls. But before the systems died, he launched one last gift to the Council fleet, a stealth missile. It slipped past their shields. It struck the command ship. Admiral Kezvok's eyes widened, right before his bridge exploded in fire. The Council fleet's command vanished in a blink. In the Council chamber, thousands of light years away, chaos broke out. Councilor Sarah stood and shouted, "They lied to us. They told us Earth was unarmed." Screens showed burning ships, Council vessels falling like stones. Verkal stood at the center, face twisted in rage. They should not have had this power. But it was too late. The lie had cracked. The galaxy was watching, and the Council's mask was falling. The Council fleet, now shattered, was running for the edge of Earth's atmosphere. But the human prototype dreadnought, a ship of black steel and advanced tech, blocked their escape. The hum of its engines was a sound the Council had never expected to hear. It was the culmination of years of secret research, Earth's final defense. The dreadnought's hull was sleek, almost alive, with sharp edges and weapon systems that shimmered with energy. It had been built in the shadows, away from the Council's prying eyes. No one had thought humanity could build such a ship. Yet here it was. And now it was facing down the last remnants of the Council's fleet. Inside the dreadnought, Lyra Hale stood before the command center, her fingers dancing over holographic controls. Solus, the rogue AI, guided her every move. Incoming fire, Solus warned. Preparing countermeasures. The ship's shields flared to life as enemy fire rained down, each shot bouncing harmlessly off the glowing energy field. Lyra's face was set in grim determination. "Let them come," she whispered. "We won't let them destroy our home." In the Council's remaining flagship, Admiral Kesvok's replacement, a younger officer named Haskin, stared in disbelief at the view screen. His fleet was in tatters, with half of their ships destroyed or fleeing. And now, this human dreadnought stood in their path, its weapons already charging. "They have no right to fight back like this," Taskin growled. But his voice cracked with uncertainty. He had been part of the plan to destroy Earth. He had watched their ambassador die. Now the humans were showing them what it meant to survive. One of his officers called out, "We can't outrun them, Admiral. Their weapons are too fast." Taskin's claws tightened on the command chair. "Then we fight. We show them their place." The dreadnought's first volley struck with precision. Beams of focused energy ripped through the Council ship's hulls, turning shields into useless debris. Every shot from the dreadnought seemed to find its target. Each blast sent another alien ship into oblivion. But Taskin was relentless. His fleet fired back, hoping to break through the human defenses. The dreadnought's weapons flared in response. A sudden barrage of missiles erupted from Earth's ship, launching at the alien fleet in a storm of deadly projectiles. As they hit, explosions rocked the Council ships, sending massive shockwaves across the battlefield. "We have to hold our ground," Taskin screamed, but the fear was palpable in his voice. Back on Earth, President Riken watched the live feed of the battle unfold on her command screen. She felt the weight of the moment. Humanity was no longer just surviving. They were fighting for their very existence, and the galaxy was witnessing their strength. "You wanted to break us," she said softly. "Now you will see what happens when we fight back." General Kane stood next to her, his face grim. "Will it be enough?" he asked, though the words were barely audible. Riken didn't answer immediately. She couldn't. The outcome was still unknown. But what she did know was that humanity had made a stand, and no matter the cost, they would not be erased. Back in space, the dreadnought's weapons fire continued, and the alien ships fell one by one. The battle was quickly becoming a one-sided massacre. The Council's warships were no match for Earth's advanced prototype. But then, something unexpected happened. A massive ship, much larger than the others, appeared from behind the debris field. It was a new design, one that was unfamiliar to Lyra. "What is that?" she asked, her voice tight with tension. "That is their flagship," Solus answered, "and it is armed with enough firepower to turn your dreadnought into dust." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. If that ship managed to close in on her position, everything they'd worked for could be lost in seconds. "We need to move fast," Lyra said. "Engage evasive maneuvers and prepare all weapons." Taskin's flagship fired its first deadly round, and Lyra's ship barely dodged in time. The blast tore through space, creating a ripple of energy that shook the dreadnought. But Lyra didn't hesitate. She ordered her crew to fire everything they had. With a roar, the dreadnought's weapon systems lit up once again. The battle now became a race. The enemy flagship was stronger, but it wasn't as fast. Lyra's hands gripped the controls. The flagship's shots came dangerously close, but each time She found a way to dodge, just barely missing death. Suddenly, a sharp voice cut through the chaos. "We're not alone," Solus warned. "What do you mean?" Lyra asked. The ship's sensors blinked to life. Hundreds of small ships, human-designed, entered the battlefield. Ships from Earth's allies, those who had been quietly building up forces since the broadcast. They weren't just standing by. They were joining the fight. The battlefield was chaos. The Council's fleet, once mighty and sure of victory, was now a broken mess. Ships fell one by one, destroyed by Earth's relentless counterattack. Alien warships scattered in panic, trying to escape the fury of humanity's secret fleet and dreadnought. At the center of it all, the Council flagship, Tazken's massive ship, was in its final stages. It had taken blow after blow, but the pride of the Council was still fighting back. But Lyra Hale wasn't backing down. "Keep pushing forward," she shouted to her crew. "Don't let them regroup. They tried to destroy us. They'll regret it." Back on Earth, President Riken was watching the battle unfold on her command screen. The fight was intense, but Earth's forces had proven their strength. "We're not just defending anymore," she said to General Kane. "We're taking our future back." Kane nodded, but his face remained tense. "And when it's over, we rebuild," Riken answered quietly. "And we ensure that no one ever threatens Earth again." In space, the dreadnought's weapons continued to tear through the alien fleet. Every shot was like a hammer striking down on an already broken enemy. Earth's ships, led by the prototype dreadnought, closed in on the Council flagship. Inside the flagship, Tazken was losing control. "Retreat. Order a retreat," he barked, but his voice shook with fear. The flagship had already suffered heavy damage. Its shields were nearly gone, and the weapon systems were barely operational. The Council had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying for it. But it was too late. The dreadnought's weapons flashed brightly as they targeted the flagship, firing once more. The ship shuddered, then exploded in a burst of fire and metal. The final pride of the Council was no more. As the last alien ship was destroyed, a deep silence fell over the battlefield. Earth's fleet had won. Lyra stood in the command center, watching the destruction. Her chest rose and fell with the weight of what had just happened. It wasn't just a battle. It was a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Solus, the AI, spoke softly. "The Council is no more. Their leadership is destroyed. Their fleet is gone." Back on Earth, President Riken stood with her generals. The news came in fast. "The enemy has surrendered," one officer said. "It's over." There were no cheers. "Not yet. Tell the people to prepare for the next step," Riken said. "We rebuild, but we must make sure this never happens again. The galaxy will not forget how humanity fought." She turned to Kane, her face set in determination. "We make the laws now." But even as the Earth celebrated, there was one last message from the Council. Counselor Sarah, the one who had called for the ceasefire, appeared on the screen. Her face was haggard, but there was something in her eyes, something new. Fear, perhaps, or respect. "We have lost," she said, her voice filled with finality. "The Council's reign is over. But let it be known, humanity, you have won a battle. The war is still coming." She paused, and for the first time, her gaze softened. "You have our respect. But make no mistake, your victory has drawn the attention of others." The screen went black. President Riken stood silent, her fingers resting on the edge of the console. "What does that mean?" General Kane asked, his voice low. Riken looked out at the stars, a deep breath escaping her lips. "It means we've made our mark. And now, the galaxy will come to us."